Hello there. Welcome to Breathe, Relax, Recover. And today we're going to do some different breathing. I'm going to talk about some different stuff because I've been getting some questions. I want to cover some things. First of all, just a reminder that the drills and the exercises I teach here aren't meant to treat or cure any illnesses or diseases. So if you're not feeling good, go check out, get yourself checked out by your doctor. Also, it's important you always keep yourself safe when you're doing any of these breathing drills. So if at any time you feel dizzy or lightheaded or nauseous or weird or you just don't like it, just stop the breathing drill and just breathe at your own normal pace. So remember, it's your lungs. You're in control and you can do what you want with them. So just because I'm counting some count or holding my breath or doing some weird thing like that doesn't mean you have to do it too, right? So just relax, breathe at your normal pace, whatever that is for you, and just get yourself recovered. And then if you feel like joining in back into the drills, you can go ahead and do that. So make sure that you're in a safe place, a safe position. So a lot of times I talk about doing these, either you're standing or you're seated or you're laying down, because I want to make sure that you're safe. So if your balance is really great, then you can stand up and that's fine. If you know you're okay with that. If your balance might be a little bit compromised, then I would say go ahead and sit down. Now, the other thing to remember is that depending on your body position, it can make a difference on whether these drills are good for you or not. So I talk about doing some kind of an assessment, then doing a breathing drill, and then reassessing to see if that drill made you better or worse, right? And so maybe standing up, it's not so great. Maybe even sitting down is not so great, but maybe laying down is your best, okay? So remember, you can do these from any position. My mom wanted me to tell everybody that the best ones for her are when she's laying down. They don't do, her breathing drills don't do so well for her when she's standing or sitting, but if she's laying down, she gets a much better reassessment. So remember, you can do these from any position. Now, as you progress through this and get better and better at it, eventually you might want to explore some more challenging positions. Maybe there's a sport that you do and you want to be in a specific position in that sport and be able to breathe. Maybe when you're like in your car and reaching into the back seat to grab something out of the back seat, can you get into that position and still breathe into your lung fields if you're twisted and rotated and kind of leaning over a little bit? Because life happens, right? And we need to be able to breathe from any position at any time, because breathing is pretty important. All right. So keep yourself safe. Do some kind of an assessment. Go ahead right now. Do a body scan. Think about, do you have any pain, tension? What level is it on a scale of 1 to 10? Or you can do some kind of an assessment for yourself. So for me, I've been doing this neck rotation, and the right's a little bit tight tonight, which is pretty typical for me. You can do arm internal rotation, see how far your arm goes. You can do different things. You can even use vision as a reassessment. So you can look at something like, if you have a Snellen chart, I've got one on the wall over there, and I can read down how many lines I can see, and then I can take note of that, and I can do a vision drill, and then I can reassess and see if my vision got better or not. Weird, right? But it happens, and it's cool stuff. So go ahead and do an assessment, get an idea where you're at. And remember the 2 rules I have: tongue in a spot. So you make an E and an N. So make an E sound, E, hold that, and turn it into an N. So you go E, in, or in, and hold that spot. So your tongue will be up and back and kind of balled up a little bit. And it won't be touching your front teeth, but it'll be up high in the roof of your mouth. It won't be down here low in your jawline, okay? So in and hold that. I don't care if your teeth are touching or slightly apart, doesn't matter, but that is gonna close off the airway through your mouth and force you to breathe through your nose, which is exactly what I want. And like I always say, if your nose is plugged up and you can't breathe through your nose, then just go ahead and drop your tongue a little bit and let the airway open up so you can breathe through your mouth, and that's fine too, okay? Because that's life. All right, so let's, and the other thing is belly breathing, or 3D breathing. So you're actually, it's not just your belly. Maybe for starters, you're breathing into your belly, but eventually your sides and your back, because it's 3-dimensional breathing, because your diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle that sits underneath your lungs on top of all the rest of your, like your stomach and liver and all that stuff. And when it contracts, it pushes down. And so it's going to push all this down and out, right? So if you, my little trick here that I do, thumbs on your side, bring your hands together so your hands are touching your stomach and your fingers are just touching, your index fingers just touching here. And then if I breathe in, those go apart, and if I exhale, they come back together, okay? And I'm not doing this, and I'm not just pooching out my stomach. I'm actually breathing down, right? Because if you breathe down, you go down and out. Eventually, we want to go into our sides and our back. So if you've got a training band, if you've got a towel, a belt, anything you can wrap around, give yourself a little bit of tension there. Don't make it too tight. And then when you breathe, I can feel that expanding all the way around, even back here. I can feel that moving, right? So that's a trick to learn how to do that. Do the best you can today with what we're doing. So the other thing I wanted to mention is I've been talking to some people about this, and they consistently don't reassess better with one of the types of breathing patterns that I usually do, which is either the long in or the long out, and they always do better with the other one. So whenever I'm counting the one that's not good for them, they do the other one just on their own, right? And that's okay, you can do that too. Okay, so I'm 6.5 minutes in. I haven't even started doing any breathing drills yet. Okay, so here we go. You need to reassess again because you've been listening to me yak at you, and that might have made you actually reassess worse. So reassess again, see where you're at. And we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna reverse it today. We're gonna do the long inhale and the short exhale. So I'm gonna count 6 for the in, and then when you get to the exhale, just blow it out. You're not trying to force it, you're just relaxing and letting the air out, okay? So tongue in the spot, let all the air out and breathe in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it out. And breathe in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let it out. Breathe in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it out. Breathe in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. Okay, now reassess. Did that make you better or worse? Check that out. Okay, for me, it's kind of not mattering because I'm not actually doing the drill because I'm talking and counting. Okay. Now, after you saw how you reassess, let's do the other one and see if your reassessment's better or worse, okay? So we're gonna do a short inhale with a long exhale. So you're just gonna breathe in for 2, exhale for 6, all right? So tongue in the spot, try to breathe down here and breathe in for 1, 2, and exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 1, 2, exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in 1, 2, exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in, exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A couple more times. Breathe in, exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Breathe in and exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax and reassess. So I was able to do the drill kind of, and I'm definitely can turn a lot further to the right. So that was a good drill for me. Okay. So now again, what I say with these is we're just doing 3, 4, 5, 6 reps. Eventually I'd like you to get to the place where you could do 30 reps all in a row of that. And it's a good thing to help you fall asleep. And I had somebody ask me, because I said at my last episode that I tried these for me a couple of nights ago and they didn't help me fall asleep. And so they said, well, what do I do if I can't fall back asleep and these don't work? So I'm going to get into that in just a second. But before I do that, I actually want to talk just a minute about the reason why we do these breathing drills. Now, there's literally hundreds of breathing drills that we could do. And I could spend hours and hours getting to the really deep neurology of, breathing one way hits your mesencephalon, and breathing another way hits your pons, and breathing another way hits your medulla. And these are all parts of your brainstem and all this crazy stuff. And it facilitates flexion and extension and all these things. But I'm trying to keep it just breathe, relax, and recover, right? Not get too detailed. But the main point with all this is to teach you control of your breath and to build confidence that you have control of your breath, because the panic of air hunger is arguably probably one of the biggest worries or panics that humans can have, right? Because we don't live very long without breathing. But if you can learn how to control your breath and you know you have control over it, then you'll have more confidence and you'll be less apt to panic. Now, here's a really interesting thing. They've done a bunch of studies on people who, quote, die of hypothermia in the water from being in cold water. And they found out something really interesting, and it's called the 1-10-1 rule. 1, 10, and 1. And what that stands for is you have 1 minute to control your breathing. If you fall in the water, and if you've ever been in even mildly cold water, it makes you, and you can't catch your breath, right? So you have 60 seconds, you have 1 minute to get your breathing under control. If you can get your breathing under control in 1 minute, then your chances of survival goes way up. So you actually then have 10 minutes that you can be in the water and not die, right? So 1 minute to get your breathing under control, 10 minutes to get out of the water, and then you have the 1-10-1. The 1 is an hour to get yourself warmed back up. And then you can survive cold water. So the point there is not that, hopefully any of us are going to end up in cold water, but that shows you how critical and important it is to learn how to control your breath and have confidence in your breath, because we breathe roughly 25,000 times a day. And how many of those do you actually think about? Right? So it's automatic and we don't think about it. So to bring breath into our conscious for a little while can have huge benefits and payoffs. Just not even when we fall in cold water, but just helping us get through the day. Okay. All right. So I want to talk a minute about bag breathing, because it's one of the things you can do if you wake up and you can't fall asleep or you're having a hard time fall asleep. Now, the version of bag breathing I'm going to show is the easiest, least threatening version of bag breathing that I know of. And what it is I have my nice little gift. Yeah, I know, Santa, it's not Christmas time, Christmas bag. And what you do, now again, this is the most mild version of bag breathing. And you can even lay down and do this, right? You lay down on the floor and you just stick this bag next to you and just breathe into the bag, right? I don't even have my head in it, right? I'm just here. And eventually, as I breathe into that, I'm going to build up the CO2. Now, the purpose of bag breathing is to rebreathe your CO2 and build up your levels of CO2, because usually what happens is if we're anxious, our breathing becomes fast and shallow, and we end up getting too much oxygen, and that's why it's called hyperventilation. We're getting too much oxygen, not enough CO2, and then the pH of our balance gets out of whack, and all kinds of things happen, because we need CO2 also. We need a balance of oxygen and CO2. So we get not enough CO2, and then that causes problems also. So by raising our CO2, that can relax us. So again, this is the most mild version of it. And you just breathe into this bag and wait until, now people say, what do I do? So when you breathe into a bag, whether it's a bag like this, or if you have one that's over your mouth, like the traditional, like a paper bag. Oh, and by the way, when you do that, make sure, and I don't have one to demonstrate, but make sure you get a seal around your nose and your mouth. Okay, so if you're like this, with it around here, you can start breathing through your nose. But if you got it around your nose too, then both your mouth breathing and your nose breathing will go back into the bag. You'll be rebreathing your CO2, using up the oxygen, and raise that balance of CO2. Now, how do we know if this is working for us or not, and what to do with it? Okay, so whether even it's this, if it's this most mild version, or if it's a version where you have a bag over your mouth, you breathe into it until you feel either warm or a little bit flushed, like you're blushing. or you're feeling like you're running out of air, right? Because even if you're not breathing hard, eventually when you breathe up all the oxygen in there, your breathing is going to get heavy, kind of like you've been exercising, right? You're going to feel out of breath and your breath rate's going to go up. So when that happens, at that point, pull the bag away and just breathe normal and recover. Now, again, remember, this is really important because people can freak out over bag breathing. They're your lungs, you're in control, and you can stop the drill at any time you want, okay? So you don't have to keep the bag over your mouth. You can take it away if this is just feeling weird for you, okay? Now, some people can bag breathe all day and it's no big deal. Some people get really panicked and don't like anything near their face. So that's why I'm starting out with this really simple version like this, because then it's not even in there, okay? So you do that until you feel warm or flushed or out of breath, right? And pull the bag away, recover. Now, sometimes the first time you do that, you don't feel warm or flushed, you just get out of breath. So then you do it again, right? Until you're out of breath, pull the bag away. And then maybe on the second time, maybe it's the third time, maybe it's the fourth time, I don't know how many times, eventually you'll get that feeling of being flushed. You might get a little blush, actually. You'll get warm, your face might get warm. Then you're done and you've built up your CO2 and quit doing the bag breathing. So just put the bag away, okay? I hope that made sense. So bag over your face, breathe until you're out of breath, take it away, recover till your breath is normal. Am I warm and tingly? No, I'm gonna do it again, and repeat that till you get warm and tingly. So if you want to use a regular paper bag, remember to cover your mouth, and that's a great way to help you. You can do it before you go to sleep to help you sleep, right? Or when you wake up, okay? So there's a little bag breathing tip. If you have any questions about that, send me an email, kyle@coachkyle.com, or make comments here in the little things down on the right. At least it's on the right for me. Okay, let's get back to doing some breathing. Let's do some box breathing, just for something different. Okay, because we've already done the long inhale and the long exhale. So let's do a box breathing where we're going to breathe in, we're going to hold, we're going to exhale, we're going to hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Okay, so I'm just going to do pretty easy here. I'm just going to do a count of 3. So we'll breathe in for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 3, hold for 3, and repeat. Okay, so all your tongue in the spot, breathe down here into your belly and exhale. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, hold for 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, inhale 1, 2, 3, exhale or hold 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, inhale 1, 2, 3, exhale 1 or hold 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to stop because I'm confusing myself. All right, relax and breathe normal, reassess. Okay, check something. Did that make you better or worse? How do you feel? Okay, so that's the version of box breathing. Now we could make that into a triangle. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to breathe in for 3, we're going to hold for 3, we're going to exhale and immediately breathe in again. Okay, so it's a triangle that goes this way. We could reverse it and do a triangle that goes the other way where we breathe in, breathe out, hold, breathe in, breathe out, hold. Okay, but we're going to do the one where we hold at the top. Okay, so tongue in the spot, exhale, breathe in for 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, breathe in 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, breathe in 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, and relax and go back to your normal breathing. Okay, now reassess that. How was that? Was that better or worse? Okay, now remember, if you're not getting a better reassessment for these, there's lots of variables. You can do the different kinds of triangle breathing, you can do the box breathing, you can do the long inhale and the short exhale, you can do the short inhale and the long exhale, you can change if that's 2 seconds or 4 seconds or 10 seconds or 6 or 8. You can do them standing, seated, laying down, right? So there's lots of variables to dial in and find the breathing drill that's best for you. And like my mom said, they're always best for her when she's laying down. Other people said they're always best for them when they do the long inhale and the short exhale. Cool? All right. So I've been yakking a lot this episode. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm going to end with just some breathing with I'm going to do the long inhale and the short exhale. And I'm actually going to do it. So I'm just going to hold my fingers up and count the inhale and breathing in. Okay. So I'm going to breathe in. I'm going to put my tongue in the spot. I'm going to exhale and I'm going to start the 6-second inhale. Okay. Exhale, inhale. All right, relax. Now, I don't know if you hear that, but my voice is lower than it was before, and my neck is way looser. So it's clearly a really good drill for me to actually do it rather than talk and count. So tonight, that was my best drill to do the long inhale and the short exhale. So it's 21 minutes and 14 seconds. Thanks for listening to all the stuff I talked about tonight. Again, if you have any questions, put those in the comments. Send me an email at kyle@coachkyle.com. If you want to learn anything specific about any specific breathing thing, then let me know and I'll be happy to cover those in a future episode. All right. So thank you all and see you Sunday for the next episode of Breathe, Relax, Recover. All right. Bye.